Hello.
Hello.
You should not be doing this with friends.
Welcome. What is your name?
So, my name is Enrico Valdez. I am the general manager of the Vienna restaurant as well as Margaritaville here at the Miami International Airport.
Okay, so we're gonna ask you a couple questions. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the restaurant. So just be normal.
I'll try.
An item on the menu is not selling well. How would you discuss this with your chef?
So that has happened already plenty of times. Restaurant business is something that it could either go well or bad depending on the situation, the seasons, and the people that actually come in. Many times we've had items that don't sell well, and the chef is the first and most important person to speak to us about, simply because they're the ones that create the menu in the restaurant, and they're the ones that decide what they're going to bring up to the table. Most chefs are not very happy when their items are not selling. Whether it's because people don't like it or whether it's because it's an interesting or new way of making a dish. However, in the restaurant business, you have to acclimate and assimilate as many things as possible and bring it up to them in a way that they could feel respected, that their dish is respected. It's just not doing well for the season or the type of restaurant that you have. Be as respectful as possible when it comes down to bringing it up to them, because to them, that's their art.
It's like a delicate subject.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, you're speaking about their child.
Right.
Try to do it as best as possible.
How would you deal with ingredient substitutions? Like if you get somebody that is vegan or has an allergy?
So when it comes down to the restaurant business, that's something that has to be very strict. You have people that have allergies to practically anything and everything. And you have to not only be mindful of that, but when you have to accommodate for those guests and make sure that they become accustomed guests, you have to do anything you can, whether it's changing the dish completely, whether it's taking things that will make the dish taste better in your opinion, simply because you're doing it for the sake of that guest. It's not always easy. It goes back to the same thing as messing with the chef's ideas. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that everybody enjoys the meal and is, not sick because of it.
How would you describe your competitors and your customers?
As far as competitors is concerned, when it comes down to here in the Miami International Airport, we're two of the biggest restaurants that we have. The only other competitor would be another chain that's here. It's rather simple to work at a restaurant in the airport because it's not that many other competitors around, so they make sure to give us as much business as possible. As far as our clientele, they care about two things. The food tastes good and it's fast on my table because I have to catch a flight. So it's a very interesting way to work in the airport because it's not a regular restaurant. Other restaurants, you could actually enjoy time with the customers and try to, make them a regular. Sometimes you might not ever see these people again, so just make sure their food is okay and they could get it as soon as possible. So it's not necessarily a competition.
Tell me your philosophy towards work.
If I hate my job, then I need to find a new one. And I think it should be the same thing for any employee that's with me or any other guest or any other manager. If you don't like what you're doing, then you shouldn't be doing it. Whether it's hospitality, whether it's any other type of work, the moment you wake up and say, I hate this place, then leave.
How do you deal with employees that seem unmotivated?
So it goes back to the same question you asked me before. A lot of times unmotivation is caused because you don't like what you're doing or because it is a hostile work environment, or it could be simply because it's just so much of the same that you get tired of it. Some people are not meant to work in the hospitality business. When that happens, you just have to sit down with those individuals, have an actual conversation with them and find out what they want to get out of the job as employees and what you could get out of them as manager. Other times it just doesn't work out and you have to find and replace whatever employees don't fit into what you're looking for. At the end of the day, in the restaurant business, it's all about hospitality. So when someone cannot be with a smile on their face, try to help the guests and make sure that your business is doing well, you have to find some new talent.
Do you think that also goes back to management? Like, for
It
example,
does go back to management, definitely.
If management makes their employees happy, then the employees will
It
make their
definitely goes back
happy.
to management. It goes back from the very top all the way to the bottom. It's a domino effect. If management, in my opinion, if management doesn't know what they're doing and it makes the employees feel like they're lost, sometimes the employee doesn't even have the backup of management, that could create an employee to not enjoy what they're doing. My own personal motto is that I want to make sure that the people that are working with me are happy simply because I need them more than they need me. If my staff decides to walk out on me one day, I'm screwed. I need them more than they need me, therefore I have to make sure that they enjoy what they're doing, within reasons, of course.
So, is there a bad experience that you faced in the past that now you laugh at?
A lot, and a lot I don't. One thing when it comes down to customer service is that you have to realize you're not going to make everybody happy. There's going to be guests that are not going to like the food, no matter what you do with the food. There's going to be guests that are going to come with an attitude, and you're going to try to turn that around, and it just doesn't work out. At the end of the day, you can't take anything personal, so there's times where you are literally fuming, and you go home, you take off your clothing, you're ready to start your normal life away from work, and you have to laugh about it. You can't take anything personal, because if you do, then you end up hating your job.
Is there any specific experience that you remember that you can share?
God, yes. There was a guest that walked out on me from a tab. It was a $250 tab that I was, before management, I was a regular server, and they walked out on me, and that day I learned that not everybody is good and proper. There's times that people actually can be mean, disrespectful, or thieves. So nowadays I laugh about it because I learned a very important, experience in customer service. But at that time, that was the worst thing that has happened to me in the business.
How do you put aside work and normal life
So are you talking about with employees or with myself?
with yourself?
With myself. Okay, so my job and my personal life sometimes. So my job and my personal life sometimes mix up. I personally don't like it. I like my job persona to be my job persona and my personal life to be my personal life, simply because when I'm off, when I'm myself with my friends or family, the last thing I want to do is think about work, think about what's going on or what I have to worry about the next time I come to work. Sadly, when you get to make friends, or luckily, when you make friends and you get to enjoy the place you work at and the people you work with, you can start mixing and mashing them. I try to avoid that, but it's hard to do when you make good friends.
How do you stay up to date and precise on revenue reports, inventory reports, and payroll reports?
So when it comes down to payrolls and as far as inventory, I'm a personal big user of Microsoft Office. You just put in what you have to put in. It gives you a detailed information of what you need or what you get. As far as payroll is concerned, it's kind of hard because upper management, when it comes down to corporate, they require you to be precise on every single detail, whether employee is a minute overtime, why, whether you're missing hours and you're trying to make sure that everybody has a concise schedule, and why, depending on the seasons. So it's easier nowadays with technology. You put everything in a program and the program hits you back, and you could try to mix and mash and make what you want happen. Thankfully, I've never been working at a restaurant where I didn't have that ability. So it's a lot easier now, I'm guessing, than it was maybe 20 or 30 years ago for management.
Do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from here?
So that's one of the hardest questions that anybody has actually asked me, because I don't know. It's hard to imagine that you're going to be stable in one place and you try to make a home out of a job and make a career out of it. When it comes down to hospitality, it's very volatile. Restaurants come and go. Places change. This airport 20 years ago didn't have more than one restaurant. So things always change and develop, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. 5 to 10 years from now, I hope to see myself doing what I like, which is customer service. Whether it's here or whether it's anywhere else, I could only climb up. And hopefully 5 or 10 years from now, I get to do this interview again and I'm still dealing with customers, because that's what I like doing.